go at least 2 hours, everybody. I'm just going to talk and talk and talk.
Go
And I'm
for
going to
it.
be incredibly boring.
You
So
can take as
just
much time as you want. Go
just
for it.
be ready, folks. So, no, I'm kidding. All right, everybody. How are you doing? My name is Mark Sebastian. I'll talk more about myself in a moment. But today, I'm here to present for Option Pit Advanced Notice. And this is a custom-built AI alert short squeeze system aimed at stocks under 20 and finding the squeezes before they develop. Now, before I begin, I have to tell you that the materials presented from Option Pit LLC are not investment, tax, or legal advice of any kind. We are here to educate. I'm here to teach and educate you. I'm not offering advice. So if you see something and you do something, you do so at your own behest. So take that under consideration. I'll give you 3 more seconds to read the disclaimer, and then we'll move around. All right. Question for everybody here today. When I say the word short squeeze, what do you guys think of? What do you think of when I use the word short squeeze? All right. I'm going to go out on a limb and say you're thinking of GameStop and AMC, maybe Beyond Meat. These are short squeezes. That's true, but they're not the type of short squeeze that I'm after. Now, I will catch these, but these happen rarely. When I develop a system at Option Pit, when my team does, all right, I work with 4 other traders. I've got a director of product development that's basically the customer advocate that helps us build these ideas. And we follow what's called CRT, which is consistently profitable, repeatable, and teachable. So before we ever share an idea, we live trade it for a minimum of 3 months. We'll run a back test. But when we talk about data, we trade our own money. And the R is repeatable. That means we can trade this trade over and over and over again. And then finally, the T is teachable, which means I'm not just issuing a trade alert. I'm able to teach you at home how to do exactly what I'm doing. GameStop and AMC, they're not consistently profitable. They were profitable. They're 100% not repeatable. And, maybe I can teach you, but how are you going to teach? What am I going to teach you? Hey, go on Reddit and scour Reddit to see if you can find an idea to trade. And let's face it, the guys on Reddit are going after get rich quick or stick it to the man. You might see a Reddit short squeeze once or twice a year. This year it was Beyond Meat, and that is it so far. You won't find these on a regular basis. You won't find a squeeze on a regular basis. But things like AMC and GameStop from 2020, Beyond Meat from this year, what if I told you they happen on a daily basis? They happen all the time. You just can't see it and you can't find it, and they may be less severe than what happened with GameStop. But here's a bunch of stocks. Maybe you've heard of 2 of these. The scanner, the AI engine, caught ASST going from 440 to 1260 in 2 days. LDI, which is Loan Depot Incorporated, I'd never heard of them, going from 336 to 502 in 6 days. EQ going from 170 to 233 in a day. Plug going from 140 to 185 in 3 days. Sarepta, SRPT, going from 11 to 1850 in 2 days. and Run going from 7 to 1340 in 6 days. Now, recently, in October, there was a squeeze on Beyond Meat. Happened about October 17th. So I want to show you what the AI engine pulled. On October 14th, it pulled up the Beyond Meat October 24 1.5 calls. So it caught it well ahead of the pop. I'm going to walk you through this, what happened here in a second, but I want to talk about myself for a second. Normally, one of my favorite things, but we've got a lot to cover, and I want to let you guys go a little bit early if I can. So I am Mark Sebastian. I was a market maker first on the American Stock Exchange in New York. After a couple of years there, I decided I wanted to move back to my hometown of Chicago, and I moved back home and traded on the Chicago Board Options Exchange. I've been in the business for 24 years, despite my youthful looks. I am in my late 40s. I traded my first short squeeze in 2006, and it ended up being the biggest and most profitable trade of my career. Now, you may not know this about the floor, but when I'm a floor trader, I'm assigned to a pit. And within that pit, I have a limited world of stocks, about 50 of them. Now, it just so happened that one of the stocks in my pit was Novastar Financial, NFI. NFI, I started to see a squeeze happening because I watched all 50 stocks in my name, in my company, in my pit, and I positioned myself. A couple days later, a trader comes in, executes the biggest trade I've ever seen in my life. To this day, maybe not in notional value, there's probably bigger ones in SPX, but in terms of the total amount of contracts, the trader put up about 1.5 million contracts that in one trade. I personally traded over 100,000 of them. Now, I can't give you the exact figure, but I made over 7 figures on this trade. And it happened because kind of dumb luck, because I was in that pit and that stock squeezed in my pit. If it had been in another pit, I never would have seen it. So what I've done over the last year is I've spent thousands of man hours and hundreds of thousands of dollars to build an AI engine that automatically scours the entire optionable market for short squeezes, mostly on stocks under $20. So the AI I've built anticipates when a short squeeze is going to happen and what stock it's going to be in. It uses a triple confirmation process so that I have full confidence in every trade, and it automatically alerts the exact option chain to buy with a 100% profit target. We've been averaging, with real money, a 70% return on every trade. So let's go back to October 14th. Here is Beyond Meat, BYND. It tells you, so we get our triple confirmation. The status goes active. It tells us October 24th, 1.5 calls for the best price. Let's see what happened. All right, so you can see the date. There's the symbol. There's the trade. And this was the biggest short squeeze of the month. So here we are, October 14th. The 1.5 calls were 7 cents. 7 cents. Not yesterday, but by October 22nd, Beyond Meat was up to $3.68. Here, it's trading about 79 cents. And you totally could have just bought the stock. If you don't know options, fine. You can trade the stock while I teach you how to trade options. But on the 22nd, the 1.5 calls got to $3. That is an absolutely insane return of 4,186%. $1,000 would be 41,480 bucks. 86 bucks. October 22nd, I'm sorry, that was the 21st. October 22nd, those calls trade all the way up to $4.75. That's a 6,786% return. $1,000 would be 67,860 bucks. Now, I know what you're saying. You're saying, Mark, there's no way that you returned 6,786%. No, that is silly. But I'll tell you what I did. Paying 7 cents, sell some at 20, sell some at 50, sell some at $1, carry some riders, some flyers, if you will, and ride them higher. And that's what I love. You know, the squeeze didn't really happen until the 20th. It started. But the AI engine that I'm showing you got us in on the 14th. And this is the power of my short squeeze AI. Here's another stock, LAES. How many of you heard of SEALSQ Corp? I didn't know the Dutch were into microchips and semiconductors, but apparently the Dutch are into semiconductors. I'd never heard of them, didn't know what they are, showed up on my radar, said buy the October 5 calls for the best price. There you see, LAES, the option, 5 calls for best price. And this was a real money trade. I bought the 5 calls for 20 cents. Two days later, I'm selling them at 55 cents. 175% return. But I was not done. Flyer position. I buy the 6.5 call. 38 cents. Sold it at $1.25. It's another 230%. Another ride. We're not done yet, folks. I buy the 9 calls for 45 cents. Sell them at $1.10. 120% return. I mean, over the course of 1, 2, 3, 4, about 6 days, 3 winners. If you put $1,000 into each of these trades, you'd have made $5,239. Now remember, my second 2 trades, I said these are flyers, do a smaller allocation. Even at that level, you'd have made $2,098.95. We'll call it $2,100. Not bad. So now you're asking, what, Mark, now that you've kind of showed me a couple of the trade ideas, what is a short squeeze? What happened to LAES that made it go from 450 to almost 9 on no news? So the basics of a short squeeze. Too many institutional traders bet a stock will go down. That's called shorting. The market gets overweight. There's not enough bets to go around that the stock's going to go up to cover all the people betting that the stock is going to go down. And so those firms get a call from their clearing firm saying they need to cover some stock. Thus it begins. The stock goes up because there's some forced buying. Some of the smaller firms start getting some margin heat. They start to kind of run for the hills, get a little scared. They buy. The stock really catches a bid. Now, the big boys, Goldman, JP Morgan, they step in and buy their positions and probably buy more. And then at the very end, there's usually some retail traders to try and get the crumbs that are happening at the end. The stock shoots higher over that period of time. The shorts lose money. And then eventually, as you saw in this chart, we find equilibrium. There's a kind of a blow off the top. And then the stock comes back down to earth. That is a short squeeze. And what I'm doing and what the AI engine that we built is doing is finding these as the clearing firm is forcing the first firms to cover. We're trying to get in at the beginning, not at the end. So let's walk through my 3 tripwire system that my AI scanner uses to locate short squeezes. Number 1, put demand. A put, for those of you not super familiar with options, is a way of expressing shorting a stock. You want the stock to go down when you own it. Tripwire 1 tells us the scale is tipping toward puts. There are too many puts being bought. I'm looking for a number above 7%. When we reach 7% or more, a mechanical short squeeze is starting to form, something forced by the market. Tripwire 2, once the scales are tipped toward puts, more people are shorting than buying calls or buying stock. That will actually start to affect the stock price. You'll see the stock start to increase in movement and in volume. That green arrow measures that the put action is starting to pollute its way into the stock. Green arrow, the stock is moving more. This put action is affecting the stock. Red arrow, stock price is moving less, and we wait. And Tripwire 3 is our frequency indicator. How many times have 1 and 2 hit our threshold that day? It goes back and looks and goes back and looks and goes back and looks. It tells me that the short squeeze is real and picking up speed. And then, once Tripwire 3 hits, we want a number of 3 or more, we get this fun little audio alert. I don't know if you guys could hear that, but it actually gives you an audible sound that a trade has been generated by the AI engine. So I can be in my kitchen making myself a sandwich, and I hear that ding. I come running back to my desk and look and see what's there. So let's look at some examples. Some that I showed you earlier. ASST. This is from September. Tells me to buy the September 7 calls for the best price. We got into the Strive calls for 35 cents. It gapped higher. We got out at 5.50. $1,471%. And what was great about this was that because the stock gapped higher, you actually captured almost all that return. Here's another one in Sunrun. This is from May 5th. The May 13th, 9 calls for the best price. In at 60. A few days later, stock gaps and runs out at 202. So on May 9th, I got in for 60. 4 days later, I got at $2.02 at 202. Return of 237%. Here's Plug Power. We got in on July 2nd. Happens to be my birthday. I paid 10 cents for my calls. Week later, happy birthday to me. I'm out of them at 30 cents. That is a 200% return. 7 days. $1,000 creates $2,000. And folks, here's our track record. $75 win rate, 57% average return per trade. $1,000 would have turned into $20,841. $100 in each trade would be $2,084. And the average cost per trade, 80 cents. $0.80. So up to this point, you should know mechanical short squeezes under $20 are common. Most people don't trade them because they can't find them. Alpha AI, that is the name of my AI engine, anticipates mechanical short squeezes. They don't always happen when it anticipates one. Alpha AI targets triple-digit wins. It recommends the best option to buy. And in my back test, I had one loss. That was with live money. We've had a few more since then. And trades cost around $80. So you have two choices here. Surf Reddit in the news for the next short squeeze, or you can just not trade these, and that's totally fine. Or you can commit to implement Alpha AI as part of your personal advanced notice tool to anticipate a trade and mechanical short squeezes. Short squeezes happen all the time. And again, you can trade the stock. Beyond Meat was 79 cents. And it went to $6.85. Now, obviously, the options have more leverage to them, but you can trade stocks here. And I will get to all of your questions at the end. And this is why I present you Alpha AI. And when you join, you will get the only tool in existence that tracks short squeezes. You can set it up right on your desktop. I got it right here. Open right now, and I'm looking at it. The audio dings when a stock hits all 3 tripwires, and a short squeeze trade populates inside Alpha AI. Over 6 figures of value delivered in a custom tool that's affordable and will help you reach your trading goals. You get the advanced trade notice alerts. Your trade alerts are built into Alpha AI itself with audio alerts, so you'll never have to watch your email or worry about missing a trade alert. This means you can be stress-free. If you want to take a week off, just close it and reopen it when you come back. It removes the guesswork. You get 24/7 chat room and a weekly live meeting with me. There's actually 2 weekly live meetings. You'll get all the community benefits, and it's one of my favorite things. You're in a trading room with several hundred other people chatting away. You'll see the live portfolio. So I do just about every trade that hits Alpha AI. The exceptions are, there's a few rules that we have that say, okay, this is not one that I want to do, typically involving corporate actions. So you get 2 in-person training events, and then throughout the week, when I am putting out a trade, when I am going to do a trade on Alpha AI, which again is almost all of them, I put out a trade alert on top of your own alert from Alpha AI. This is an alert that goes to your email, it goes to your text message, and it goes to push notification. You meet with me twice a week. And what I love is the freedom that this tool gives you, this engine. It allows you to trade completely independently of me once you learn how to use it. But you do have a community that you're a part of that you can talk with, celebrate wins, talk about upcoming potential squeezes. Lots of fun. You get the ability to customize Alpha AI to how you want to view it. This is how I have set it up, but these columns move. You may say, Mark, first thing I want to see is when a trade forms. Or you might want to say, I want to right where you had it. You get the Alpha AI Bible, which has all the rules for the best results using Alpha AI. I built a short squeeze course for you guys. And of course, you're getting the guidance of, I can't believe, almost 3-decade trader myself on how exactly to get the most out of Alpha AI. Bonus 1, the Alpha AI Bootcamp. You're going to discover in even more detail the inner workings of Alpha AI and tripwires 1 through 3. You're probably asking, well, what goes into those? You'll have a good idea. You're going to have an understanding of that by the time we're done. You're going to leave an expert on Alpha AI. You'll know how to read the tripwires, when to enter trades, how to use some of the other features we didn't even get into tonight. Like when to buy stock versus when to buy options. You'll learn why the options Alpha AI projects are the best to trade, a skill that will help you in all your other options trading. those options aren't just randomly generated. I sat down with our team, and they basically deprogrammed how I would trade an alert and put it into Alpha AI. And when it issues an alert, 95% of the time, it goes to the exact trade I would have done. And the rest of the time, it's my second choice. And this is available as soon as you purchase. And I'm going to be running another boot camp this month. You'll get access to what we call Alpha AI head fakes. These are 5 quality stocks under $10 to buy right now. I call them my trash to treasure. Most of the time, stocks are shorted because they're garbage. But every now and again, one will get through. So these stocks under 10, here are some examples. AREC, American Resources, went from 98 cents to $7.11. Airship Holdings went from 247 to 552. Red Cat, we caught at 265. It's now like $14. And SMR, which is new scale, went from $4.86 to $44. And we've already monetized some of the bonuses in our AI engine so far. ONDS, we had a 57% return, and we're still holding stock. AREC, I got most of the AI subscribers in, Alpha AI subscribers in at $2, went to $4.05. If it gets back below $3, I'm going to buy more. Lithium Americas Corp, we got in at $2.85, sold out the whole position at $6.85. And I got several more names that we're going to be adding. We add and subtract names every quarter. And I saw somebody said, would you short it one of these stocks once they top out, once they reach equilibrium? And so we have a class on advanced squeeze techniques. You're going to master the art of the squeeze by trading it both ways, as it pops and as it falls back to equilibrium. In this bonus masterclass, Andrew Giovinazzi, one of my partners, will teach you advanced squeeze techniques like hedging, two-way profits, and timing the downside so you get paid 2x on each trade. If you're targeting 3 to 5 times your account in a year, advanced short squeeze techniques could double that. And then another class we have coming out is the Momentum Masterclass. You guys saw how I rode LAES. I rode it from 450 all the way up to 9, and then I stopped. In this class, I'm going to teach you how to know when there is momentum in a stock and when that momentum is over and it's time to stop pushing. This will help you lower your risk, and it'll help increase your reward as the stock continues to get squeezed. And we always have a 100% money back guarantee. No restocking fees, no nothing. I feel so confident when you join, I'm going to offer you a 14-day money back guarantee to reverse your risk. I don't care what the reason is. I don't care what the reason is. You don't like Alpha AI and you want a refund in the first 14 days of your membership, I will process 100% cash back refund on you. I do not care. Any excuse. So just a reminder, to build this, it took my 24 years of trading, at least 300 hours to develop and test the system, at least over $60,000 to the tech company that built it, and an options data feed costs about $20,000 a month. Now, we created a super targeted AI, so we don't have to pass a huge $20,000 per month cost onto you. So here's what I'm offering. Direct access to Alpha AI, live ongoing data calculations that Alpha AI uses to generate that confirmation trade. The audio alerts, the advanced notice trade alerts, 24/7 chat room, weekly live meetings with me, the AI Bible, all the rules for using it, the short squeeze course, the momentum course, the advanced course, and of course, you get to work with me, yours truly, Mark Sebastian. And so I'm going to offer this to you guys. We never offer a monthly, ever. This is the lowest price and the first time we've ever done a monthly. I'm going to offer you guys the chance to join for $3.99 for a month. And remember, try it for a week, try it for 2 weeks, and if you don't like it, I will give you your money back. But I'm here to tell you, you're going to like it. Now, if you have questions, I have a team set aside, 888-872-3301. Give them a call, 888-872-3301, and we will gladly reach out to you. So you can give my team alternative. You can email support@optionpit.com. All right. Boris says, would you short it once it tops out? I mean, why? I've done so well on the way up. Why would I short it on the way out? Unless I'm using one of these more advanced techniques that really lowers the risk on the downside. Zach says, very nice. Thank you. I tried really hard on this. SR555 says, do dark pools affect your trading strategy? They really don't. They really don't. The mechanics behind this are really unrelated to dark pools. How long will the offer be good? David, when is the event over? Tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow night.
Yeah, all right. Through tomorrow night. So or Friday through Friday. You have till Friday. Take advantage of this.
Yeah, because people will be watching the
yes
recordings and stuff. So
very much. All right. So you're good through Friday. Mark and his team are dedicated and excellent teachers. They are the real deal. Thank you, William Adams. And one of the things is we're always improving. This is the second generation of Alpha AI. The first generation never was released to the public. That was what I was beta trading off of. This is generation 2. Generation 3 is in the works. How many alerts per day, per week? The average, Joan, has been about 2 to 3 a week. But when it gets going, you can have 1 or 2. We had 2 today. When it gets going, you can have 1 or 2 every day. But then there also will be periods of time where you go several days without an alert. But it is, the average has worked out to about 3 trades a week. Yeah. And thank you. Do we get an alert when to close? Yes, Joan. When I'm closing, I send an alert. Thetis wants to know, this sounds exciting. What platform do I trade on? You can trade on anything you want, Thetis. Has it producing a lot of penny stocks? No, it has not. So, generally speaking, if you're at anything under $1.50, we're generally going to just buy the stock. Most of the names are somewhere between $2 and $7 that hit this. By the time a stock gets to being an actual penny stock, none of the big boys are shorting it. So the stock actually has to have the potential to drop for someone to want to short it. Does that make sense? So it's not, these are stocks that are typically $3-4 that people are willing to short down to $1.50. The trade results I showed were from what period of time? There you go. Were from what period of time? They were from April to October. April to October. Other questions for me? Yeah, but stay away from penny stocks. Anyone pitching penny stocks is a charlatan. They are. No, this is something that if I had this built back when I was on the floor, I probably would have left the floor and gone upstairs and done this myself all day. We didn't have the technology to build this. So what I'd invite you to do is click that link, join us. And if you have questions, if you have questions, give us a call, 888-872-3301. Joan King, $3.99 for the first month. Then what? $3.99. We're not going to raise the price on you, Joan. You are locking in the monthly at the best price I've ever offered it. What stocks have the greatest short interest now? You know, I don't really. You can have a lot of short interest and not squeeze. SR 555. Is there any live trading? Yes. I am live with you guys twice a week. And at Option Pit, we're live every morning from 10 to 10:30. So you have me live to answer all your questions, and people are trading in the room with each other. But like, am I sitting on a screen all day talking, shouting out trades? No, that's what Alpha AI is for. You know, I know it sounds lazy, but I built this to remove me from the equation. It's like, think of the process. So my oldest is going to be 16 soon. So do you know what I'm doing with my oldest right now? Take a guess. What did you do when you were 15 and a half? Yeah, I'm teaching him how to drive. So Alpha AI is the car. When you first start, you're going to be in the driver's seat, but I'm going to be in the passenger seat with you. Now, I'm going to cry when this happens, but someday my son is going to drive off and I will not be in the passenger seat. I'll be proud of him, but it's also a milestone that, makes you feel a little older, you know what I mean? And that's my goal for you with Alpha AI. We're going to put you in the driver's seat. I'm going to be in the passenger seat guiding you through it. But I want you to learn that independence. You're going to come to the community because you love and enjoy interacting with the traders in that community, not because you need them. You need, education or you need guidance. You're going to come to live sessions because you enjoy interacting with me, and we can talk about what's happening in markets and where I see squeezes and stuff like that. Not because you need to see me, but because you'll want to. Yeah, it's going to be a great time. All right. Do we have other questions? Yeah, teach him how to drive. Ugh. He's a good kid, though. He'll be fine. So once again, you get direct access to AI, to Alpha AI, the data calculations. You get the audio alerts, the trade alerts from me. Yeah, I've got a GPS on his phone. You get the chat room, weekly live meetings, Alpha AI Bible, the short squeeze course, the advanced short squeeze course, the momentum course, all of it. And I'm letting you do it for $3.99 a month. And halfway through your month, if you go, Mark, you've got a stupid face, I don't really want to work with you anymore, I'll give you your money back. Click the link or give us a call, 888-872-3301. Does Alpha AI have its own site or is it attached to OP? You access Alpha AI through the Option Pit site, but it does have its own site right now. Can AI like ChatGPT have at least some function to do? I don't think chatbots, unless you attach them to a data source, can do what we're doing here. So could it do it if you knew exactly what went into Alpha AI? Yeah. But in order to do that, you would need to attach it to a data source. And the data source is going to cost you about $20,000 a month for what you need. So would you rather pay $3.99 for Alpha AI or $20,000 a month to try and build it yourself? It is always connected. It uses option data. So option data is really only active between 9:30 Eastern and 4, right? And that's when we're all trading anyway. But when the market's open, Alpha AI is working. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like I said, here it is right now. All right, so what I'd invite you to do is click the link in the chat. Call my team, 888-872-3301. Or you can email us, support@optionpit.com, and we'll be happy to help you. I'm going to make this offer good till Friday. And unless we have any other questions, David, I'm going to give you 12 minutes of your day back. And I'm going to say thank you, folks, for coming tonight. If you have questions, again, you can email us, support@optionpit.com. But I hope to see some of you joining, and I can't wait to work with you. And so I am Mark Sebastian. I am your only option, and I'm looking forward to seeing y'all in Alpha AI. Have a good one, folks.